Hello everyone, welcome back to online lecture series on fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. We are continuing our topic of kinematics of fluid flow. So as usual, we will do a quick revision of our previous topics. In our previous lecture, we proved continuity equation in 3 dimensions. So here we have taken an elementary volume which is cubic in shape, having dimensions dx, dy and dz in x, y and z direction respectively. Apart from that, the velocity components are u, v and w in x, y and z direction. So here we have taken two sections A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H that are in x direction. So here from ABCD the fluid is entering and from EFGF the fluid is leaving. So we calculated the mass entering and mass leaving the fluid element in x direction. So we obtained the gain of mass in x direction, in y direction and z direction. So we summed them up together to get the net gain of mass. And here, as per the mass conservation law, the net gain of mass must be equal to the net increase of mass per unit time. So here we have equated this, and finally we obtained this as the general continuity equation in 3 dimensions, that is del rho upon del t plus del over del x rho u plus del over del y rho v plus del over del z rho w equal to 0. This is for unsteady 3-dimensional compressible flow. And there are few special cases on this, that is for steady flow del rho upon del t will be 0, so the equation reduces to this. Then we have steady incompressible flow, that is in incompressible flow rho will remain constant, so it is taken outside and it is vanished with this 0. So for steady incompressible flow, the continuity equation is del u upon del x plus del v over del y plus del w over del z is equal to 0. Third is steady incompressible 2D flow, in which the third dimension is not present, so we have eliminated del omega over del z. Now our next topic for today is velocity and acceleration. So let's say the resultant velocity is denoted as capital V, and it is having x, y and z components as u, v and w. So velocity components are function of space and time. So u as function of x, y, z, t, v as also second function of x, y, z and t, and w is also function of x, y, z and t. And the resultant velocity in vectorial form is given by this formula. And in form of magnitude it can be written as square root of u square plus v square plus w square. Similarly, we can have the acceleration, and the components of acceleration are ax, ay and az. So now let's say that we need to obtain the velocity acceleration component in x direction. So obviously ax will be equal to d over dt of u. So here it is equal to, if you see carefully, then it is a function of u is a function of x, y, z and t. So we cannot directly differentiate it with respect to t, but as u is function of space and time, we need to have del u over del x into dx upon dt. So first let's say that we are first differentiating with respect to x, so del u over del x, and our original differentiation is with respect to x, so we need to put dx. Original differentiation is with respect to time, so it should be dx upon dt plus del u over, now with respect to y, del u over del y into dy upon dt plus del u over del z into dz upon dt, and next is directly with respect to time, so it will be plus del u over del t. So that is being observed over here. Now the next is, similarly we can calculate the ay and az components in similar fashion. The next is, for case of steady flow, we can write down del v over del t as 0. The meaning is that del u over del t will be 0, del v over del t is 0, as well as del w over del t is also 0 in this case. So if you see in our main equation of acceleration, this term will be 0, this term will also be 0, and this term will also be 0. So we have the modified acceleration equations for a steady flow. Then the acceleration vector is given by ax, ay and az with I cap, j cap and k cap unit vectors, and in form of magnitude we can write down in this way. Then there are two types of accelerations. First is local acceleration, and second is convective acceleration. So here if we observe this box again, then these all are derivatives of velocity with respect to space and time. So few velocity derivatives are with respect to space, and the last three derivatives, as you can see here rounded, are derivatives with respect to time. So the derivatives with respect to time are local accelerations, and derivatives with respect to space coordinates are called convective acceleration. Now our next topic for today is velocity potential function. That is denoted as phi. So velocity potential function is a scalar function of space and time that is denoted as phi. So how this potential function is defined? it is defined in such a way that if we differentiate a velocity potential function with respect to space coordinate, then it gives us velocity component in that direction. So what they are trying to say here, it is already written over here, that if we differentiate velocity potential function phi with respect to x, then it will give us velocity component in x direction, that is u. Similarly, if we differentiate it with respect to y, then it will give us velocity component in v in y direction, that is v. And again, if we differentiate it with respect to z, then we will get w. So this is based on the Cartesian coordinates, and similar form of equations are also written in cylindrical polar coordinates. Now we have written continuity equation, that is del u over del x plus del v over del y plus del omega del w over del z equal to 0, that is for steady incompressible flow. Now we have used these three equations which are definition of velocity potential function to write down over here. So here we are getting the final equation as del 2 phi over del x square plus del 2 phi over del y square plus del 2 phi over del z square equal to 0. So this is known as Laplace equation, and if we take this into two dimensions, then the third component is not considered. Then we are having Laplace equation as del 2 phi over del x square plus del 2 phi over del y square equal to 0. So here it is written that any value of phi that satisfies the Laplace equation is the case of fluid flow. So the next is properties of potential function. So here we need to first define the rotational components, that is done over here. So to explain that how we are defining potential functions, let me erase this and explain this again. Okay. So let's say that first we need to define the rotational component in z direction. So we will call this as omega z, which is given by half of here the velocity component is in z direction. So here we will have del x, and here we will have differentiation with respect to y, that is del y, and the velocity component will be perpendicular to it. So here we will have del v del u. So this is called as velocity component in, rotational component in z direction. Then let's say we have omega y. So we are beginning with y direction, so the next direction should be z, and the remaining direction is x. So now here we need to put a velocity component which is perpendicular to this, so it should be del u, and here it will be del w. Then we have the last rotational component as del x is equal to half of here we will have del y, as this is a rotational component in x direction, the next direction is y direction and the remaining direction is z. So here we will have the perpendicular component as del w, and here we will have del v. So these are the rotational components in x, y and z direction, and the same three are written over here. And again what we have done, that instead of u, v and w, we have put the derivatives of velocity potential function for a given component of velocity. That is done over here. And let's try for this. Okay, I will explain you for this one. So omega x is equal to half of del over del x minus del phi here del y over del z minus del over del z minus del phi over del y. So finally what we will be getting over here is half of del 2 phi over del y del z plus del 2 phi over del z del y. So in similar fashion, here we have done omega y component in this way and omega x component in this way. So if phi is a continuous function, then the order of differentiation with two variables does not affect the result. So these two will be same everywhere. So omega z equal to 0, omega y equal to 0 and omega x equal to 0. This will be the irrotational, this will be the case of irrotational flow when the rotational components are 0. So the properties of potential function, are, if phi exists, then it is a possible case of irrotational flow, because if phi exists, then it is a continuous function and the rotational components will be 0 and it is known as irrotational flow. If phi satisfies the Laplace equation, then it is a possible case of steady incompressible irrotational flow. Now the next is stream function. stream function is denoted as psi. So here it is also a scalar function of space and time that is given by psi, and here this function is defined in such a way that when we differentiate it with respect to x, then it gives us velocity component in a direction perpendicular to this x direction. So let's say if we differentiate it with respect to x, then it gives us v, and similarly here if we differentiate it with respect to y, then it gives us velocity component in x direction. So this is completely opposite to the velocity potential function. And similarly we can write down this similar form of equation in cylindrical polar coordinates also. And here we have del u over del x plus del v over del y equal to 0. That is also a continuity equation in 2 dimensions. So we have obtained this relation. And the existence of psi means the possible case of fluid flow which may be rotational or irrotational. That can be seen from here, that let's say that we are having omega z as this formula. We have already discussed this. So we have omega z, and here we have put the stream function form of velocity component. So finally we are getting the rotational components in z direction. For irrotational flow, omega z is equal to 0. So del 2 psi over del x square plus del 2 psi over del y square equal to 0. So this is also known as Laplace equation for stream function. And if psi satisfies the Laplace equation, if psi satisfies the Laplace equation, then it is a possible case of irrotational flow. Now the next is equipotential line. So equipotential line is defined as the line on which the velocity potential functions are constant, that is phi is constant. So for steady flow we can say that phi is function of x and y only. See, previously what we were discussing is function phi, velocity potential function phi is function of space and time coordinates. So let's say in this way. But if we consider this to be a steady flow, then the time dependency will not be present. So phi is equal to function of only x and y. So here d phi, if we are going to differentiate this, then we will have del phi over del x into dx plus del phi over del y into dy. The same can be seen over here. And as phi is constant, so d phi will be 0. That's why instead of d phi we have written it as 0. So instead of del phi over del x we have written u, and del phi over del y is equal to minus v. So we are getting dy by dx as minus u upon v, which is also known as slope of equipotential line, and it will be denoted as m phi in this case. Then the next is line of constant stream function. So here phi is constant. For steady flow, phi is the function, sorry, psi. This is denoted as psi. So psi is constant. So for steady flow, psi is only function of space coordinates x and y. So d psi is equal to del psi over del x dx plus del psi over del y dy. So here we are having d psi is equal to 0. So instead of del psi over del x we have put v, and del psi over del y, instead of del psi over del y we have put minus u. So finally we are getting dy by dx as v upon u, that is slope of line of constant stream function, and it is denoted as m psi. So previously we have m phi which is minus u upon v, and here we are having m psi which is v upon u. So m phi into m psi is multiplied together and we are getting minus 1. So what is the meaning of this? That equipotential lines and line of constant stream function both are perpendicular to each other. The next definition is flow net. So flow net is defined as a grid obtained by series of equipotential lines and streamlines. So this is a small example of flow net. So here we are having a grid of, let's say this is equipotential lines and these are the line of constant stream functions. So when we create such kind of grid, then it is known as flow net. Now the next is relation between phi and psi. So based on the definition of velocity potential function, we have written these two equations in first box, and based on the definition of stream function psi, we have written these two equations. Oops, we have done mistake here. So here these are for the phi definition, that is for velocity potential function, and these two are for psi. So when we equate them in this black box, then we have this relationship between phi and psi, and we have this relationship between phi and psi. So this is the relation between phi and psi. Our next topic is line of types of motions, but we will discuss this part in our next lecture. So let's quickly revise what we have done today. We first started with velocity and acceleration, where resultant velocity is having components u, v and w, and here these are with our function of space and time. Here we are having the acceleration components ax, ay and az. For steady flow, the time derivatives are 0, so we have reduced these equations. And here we are having acceleration as two types, local acceleration and convective acceleration. So local accelerations are the velocity derivatives with respect to time, and convective accelerations are velocity derivatives with respect to space. Then we studied about velocity potential function. So here we are having it is the scalar function of space and time in such a way that once we differentiate it, we get a velocity component in that direction. Then we obtained the Laplace equation, and then properties of potential function. So here we are having the rotational components first defined, and we obtained them in form of velocity potential function. Then phi is a continuous function, so del 2 phi. So here if it is continuous function, then this will be equal to each other, and we will get a irrotational flow. The next we defined stream function, which gives us velocity component in direction perpendicular to it, and here we obtained the Laplace equation for psi. Then we discussed about equipotential line and line of constant stream function, and we obtained that these two lines are perpendicular to each other, and we obtained a flow net based on equipotential line and streamlines. And the last topic was relationship between phi and psi. So this is end of today's lecture. Thank you for watching this video.